Namah Parvati Pataye Govindanam Sankirtanam.
Om Narayanam Namaskritya. You can all repeat with me. Narayanam Namaskritya. Naranchaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Tato Jayamudirayet. We are talking about the amazing, extraordinary blessing and gift that all humanity has received, called Mahabharata. And there are such amazing, wonderful stories. It is full of thousands and thousands of amazing stories, which give us the greatest knowledge and which lead us to the greatest goals. So this Mahabharata is what we are talking about, the glorious stories of the Mahabharata. And as we do that, we should always start with this story, with this shloka, which is the beginning of this Mahabharata, which is the shloka that has to be cited or chanted at the beginning of Mahabharata. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. That is the beautiful shloka. So any of our great texts, the first word itself conveys the main message and the main gist and essence of that whole work. So there is no other word that Mahabharata can start with than Narayana. So this whole work, this whole message is about Narayana. This is the glory of Narayana. This is the whole purpose of life. This is the whole essence of the Mahabharata, is about the glory of Narayana. So we bow to Narayana. Narayanam Naranchaiva. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam. The wonderful nature of Mahabharata is it brings Narayana and Nara together. The divine and the human come together, and how that glorious confluence happens, and how we can all be inspired by that. And what is this goal of our whole life is to take Nara to Narayana. To Nara has to become Narottama, and Narottama has to merge into Narayana. That is the whole purpose. And the whole this whole message is beautifully conveyed in Mahabharata. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam. And then we bow to Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. You can think of it as we are bowing to Saraswati, we are bowing to Vyasa. Or we can think of Vyasa as Saraswati, manifestation of Saraswati that we are bowing to. Either way we can think about this. Devim Saraswatim. So Saraswati is the goddess of all knowledge. She is Bharati, Mahabharata. The name itself is Bharata, and Bharati is Saraswati. We all have this glorious heritage. In fact, all humanity has the glorious heritage of Bharata. And we are all having, certainly as Indian origin, Indian people from India, we are all Bharatiyas. We have the glory of the blessings of Bharati. Bharati is the one who seeks light all the time, who gives light all the time, who revels in light. Bharati. Bha is light, and Rati is reveling or delighting in light. That is why this is the message to all humanity, that the goal is light. We have to delight in light. This is the whole. That is why we bow to Devi Saraswati. When we take the greatest work, such a great work, Mahabharata, which has the greatest dimensions, and it is the very manifestation of Saraswati itself, this work. With such reverence, we should approach Mahabharata. It is Devi Saraswati Vyasam. What to speak of Vyasa? Vyasa is manifested as Saraswati and is reflected in every word of this glorious Mahabharata. I know that the next session you are having is about Sanskritam. This is the greatest language, the greatest blessing. This is the mother of all languages. It is the most refined language. It is the greatest reflection of the power of knowledge and intellect is reflected in that language and is expressed in that language. And that language is itself is the form of Saraswati. And Veda Vyasa, the greatest Vyasa, Valmiki, Kalidasa, all of them wrote in this amazing, extraordinary language. To this day, we wonder how such an ancient language can be so refined and so cultured and so complete and so inspiring. It is no other language can match Sanskritam. And this, so we think of that Sanskritam of the goddess of all languages, Saraswati, and we think of Veda Vyasa, Vyasam. Tato Jayamudirayet. With that, we commence the study of Bharata, which is referred to very interestingly here as Jaya. Another name of Mahabharata is Jaya. Or when we want to reach any success, Jaya is success, right? Victory, success. So Jaya. So if you want to achieve success, this is what you should think about. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. With that, we commence the study of this Jaya. This Mahabharata leads us to all success. All of us in every way, of all ages, of all regions, religions, everybody is striving towards success. This is what we, in our own way, what is success for us? Each of us. So it tells us what is success, how to achieve success, what is the way to success. So it is a very practical, in so many ways, in so immensely, so comprehensively, it deals with the subject of success and Jaya. And wherever there is Nara and there is Narayana, Narottama and Narayana, there is success. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanuddaraha, Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutihi, Dhruva Nitir Matar Mama. That is what we hear at the conclusion of the great Bhagavad Gita, which is the very heart of Mahabharata. Mahabharata is so great, it has that as well. So that is so with these kind of thoughts, we can commence the reflections on Mahabharata. We can be inspired by Mahabharata, the greatest story and the greatest compendium of stories of all time. You cannot imagine any other such compendium as Mahabharata. So how does this? So we'll talk about the story of Mahabharata itself to start with, and then we can get into, there is no limit to how many stories we can get into in the Mahabharata. Today, let us start with the story of Mahabharata itself. So how did the Mahabharata story start? There was a great Muni, a great Muni called Shaunaka. Here, the Munis, their greatest purpose in life is to do good to mankind. They are only thinking about what is the welfare of mankind. How should we promote the welfare of mankind? So Shaunaka, a great Mahamuni, also gathered a number of Brahmarshis and great rishis, and all of them together then decided, since this is Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga has come. This is the age where so many people go astray, so many people are not able to be situated in tapas, in the greatest knowledge. A lot of people need help, a lot of people need inspiration. How shall we do something for the welfare of all? And Shaunaka came up with the idea that there is nothing greater than a yajna that is done for the welfare of mankind. And we shall do, since this is Kali Yuga, so much is needed. All our power we should give to the people in Kali Yuga, so that they have our support. And with that kind of very generous thinking, Shaunaka and all the Brahmarshis launched a yaga, not an ordinary yaga, a yaga that will last 12 years. So they all gathered in Naimisharanya, a very sacred region of India. And in the Naimisharanya, they started performing this Dwadasha Varsha Ottama Satrayaga. Dwadasa Varshikottama Satrayaga. They were started to perform that. And as they were performing this yaga, many people were coming, many rishis were coming, joining. So in the early stages itself, one of the rishis that came there was Ugrasravasa. He is a and as soon as he came, people were, all these Brahmarshis and everybody was delighted, because this Ugrasravasa had the title of Suta as well. Suta means storyteller. So this Bharata itself is all about stories. So it all starts with a storyteller. So this Suta, Ugrasravasa, had come there. And these rishis were totally delighted. They went, hurried towards him. They made him sit on a nice seat. They did great Argyapada Padyadi felicitations to him. They respected him so much. And they were all really full of joy. Why is that? They told him, "Oh, Ugrasravasa, we are so fortunate that you have come to this Dvadas Varshikottama Satrayaga, because you are the son of Raumaharsha. You are known as Raumaharshini. And Raumaharsha is a Romaharsha. You are a son of Romaharsha, so you are called Raumaharshini. So you are the son of Romaharsha, who is the direct disciple of Veda Vyasa. You are a storyteller who is the son of direct disciple of Veda Vyasa. So we can't think of a better person to be in our midst as we perform this yaga, because as we do this yaga, it is very important. We do many formal parts of that yaga, but a very important part is also listening to stories. So every day we have to listen to stories, and be a storyteller coming from the direct lineage of Veda Vyasa, the Sishya Parampara of Veda Vyasa, is our greatest fortune. So such is the respect everybody had for Veda Vyasa, that his disciple's son is so much respected. So then Brahmarshini, this Ugrasravasa Suta, was very happy. He said, "Yes, I had know so many Puranas, I know so many stories, I have learned so many things from my father Ramaharshana, and I have had the fortune of being at the feet of Veda Vyasa himself, and from all of them I have learned. There's no end to how many stories and how many Puranas and everything I have learned from them. So I am here at your service. So what kind of story do you want to hear from me?" So that's what he asked. Then the Rishi said, and I'll say this one from Telugu, how they expressed it beautifully. This is from the Telugu original Mahabharata from Telugu. This is the translation from Sanskritam. So the Rishi said, "Eyyadi hrudyam bapurvam beyyadi yeddani vinaneruka samagram vayyundu aga nibaranam veyyadi atti kada vinavalamakun." This is the beautifully they put their request forward. What is it? What is the kind of story you want to hear? What story you want to hear? They asked, right? Then they said, the story we want to hear should be very captivating. It should just go straight to our heart. Hrudyamu. It should really touch our heart, and it should capture our hearts. Eyyadi hrudyam apurvam beyyadi. When we hear that story, we should feel we haven't heard a story like this any time before. There's no such story. No story as that. It is nothing like what we have heard before. Apurvam beyyadi. Yeddan vinna eruka samagram vayyundu. Hearing which we feel our knowledge is complete. Everything that is to be known is known now after hearing this story. Eruka samagram vayyundu. Aga nibarhanam veyyadi. So we also should feel that by listening to this story, all our sins have been driven away or washed away. Such a story we want to hear. So that is the conditions they put in front of this Suta. And then Suta said, "First, let me bow to that that Paramaguru, that great Guru of mine, Veda Vyasa. And let me tell you, yes, there is such a story I can tell you about with the grace of that great Guru, Veda Vyasa. Who is this Veda Vyasa? First, the Vedas are the essence of everything. They are the greatest knowledge. They are the greatest philosophy. They are the greatest truth. They convey the greatest things to mankind. And these Vedas got scattered everywhere. And then this Brahmarshi called Vyasa, he compiled all of them, gathered all of them, brought all the Vedic truths together, nicely classified them, compiled and classified them into 4 parts, organized them, and he divided them into 4 Vedas, Chaturveda Vedas. This one truth that is composed in this Eki Bhuta Veda, he gathered because it had been scattered and divided into Rug, Yajas, Sama, Adharvana Vedas, right? Rug Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Adharvana Veda. And these 4 Vedas, he nicely organized, and he appointed one disciple for each of them. So he appointed Paila, Vaishampayana, Sumanta, and Jaimini. Paila for Rigveda, Vaishampayana for Yajurveda, Sumanta for Samaveda, and Jaimini for Adharvana Veda. So having appointed and making sure now that these great Shishya Parampara will continue through ages, and this Veda tradition will continue. The greatest truths are now captured for mankind. They are not lost. He was there and he was very happy and he was continuing. And he was in this beautiful ashrama that he had in Badrikashrama, near Badrinath, on the banks of the river Saraswati. There you would hear all these 4 Vedas being chanted, the wonderful reverberations of all this was continuing there. And this Veda Vyasa, very known as Veda Vyasa, because of this wonderful work, that whole reverberations vibrated throughout the country and they were continuing through all the Bharatavarsha. This great tradition was established for centuries and centuries to follow, thousands of years, so that it can continue. That enormous, amazing work Veda Vyasa did. But was he satisfied with that? No, there was so much more he had done. And then in that ashrama, the Lord Brahma came to Veda Vyasa and said, "Oh, Veda Vyasa, you have done so many things. You have done, and you have so much in your mind. But it has to be conveyed in a way that people will easily be able to understand. Some will understand and be raised to the level of the Vedas. But all mankind, if they have to benefit, you have to say that in a way that is very captivating for them. So why don't you write a story that reflects all this knowledge and makes it come through in a very consumable form, as we will say, right? In the form of stories. So write such a work." So this one, this great, this one, the Veda Vyasa had Ashtadash Puranas. He had written 18 Puranas besides the Vedas. He knew all the Upanishad Saram was coming, all the Vedanta came from there, Chaturvedas and Vedantas. He knew all the Dharma Shastratas and the truth about the Dharmas, the Tattva of the Dharma. He knew the various opinions of the various Vedas and Vedantas. He knew the 4 goals of humanity, the 4 classes of goals, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. He knew the entire history. He knew in all the 4 yugas, he knew the whole stories and the whole history of of all the Maharshis and Rajavamshas, all the kings. He knew the Chaturvarnashrama dharmas. We talk about the Chaturvarnashrama, Brahmacharya, Gruhastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. All the dharmas of all the stages of life he knew. And he knew that that one who is the Paramapujya of even Chaturmukha Brahma, all the Suraganas, all the gods, and all the Munis and Brahmarshis, all of them reflect and pray to that Sri Krishna. He knew the glory, the true glory, and the complete glory of Sri Krishna was known to him. And he also knew the great qualities of the great people, the great sons of Pandavas, and the various Bharata Mahaviras. He knew their qualities. So, knowing all this, he, at the behest of Brahma, he composed this wonderful story called Mahabharata, which brings all of this together. All of these things that I talked about, it brings together. Dharma Tattvajnulu Dharma-shastram bani, Adhyatma vidulu Vedantamaniyu, Niti Vichakshanu Niti-shastram bani, Kavi Vrushabhulu Mahakavyamaniyu, Lakshanikulu Sarvalaksha Sangraham bani, Aitihasikulu Itihasamaniyu, Parama Pauranikulu Bahupurana Samuchayam bani Mahigoniyaduchunda, Vivida Veda Tattva Vedi Veda Vyasudu Adimuni Parasaratmajundu Vishnu Sannibundu Viswajaninamai Chese Bharatambu. So this is the, those who know the Dharma Tattva, they say this is the Dharma Shastra. Those who know Adhyatma, they say this is the Vedanta. Those who know Niti, morality, they say Niti Shastram, or this is the strategy, is another word. And the great poets say this is the Mahakavya. And those who talk about goals and how to achieve goals, they say Sarva Laksha Sangraha. This is the comprehensive view of all goals of mankind. And historians say this is the tremendous history. And the great Pauranikas, this is all Purana, Ashtadasha Puranas have come together in this work. This is where they praise Mahabharata. That is the story that I have heard from Veda Vyasa. This is a wonderful tree, that is Parijata tree, that has come out of the garden of the works of Veda Vyasa. The beautiful branches of this tree are thousands of stories that convey so many great truths. And the great shade they give is the shade of the very essence of Vedanta, of the greatest philosophy. And the flowers are beautiful, beautiful forms of glories and great morals that come out of it. And the fruit is realizing the glory of Krishna and Arjuna and Nara and Narottama, and Narayana and Narottama. So that is this beautiful tree of Mahabharata. It has 18 chapters. It has 8 Ashtadasha Adhyayas. And we know this is the greatest work of all time. There's no matching with the 1 lakh slokas and with 18 parvas, Ashtadasha parvas. There is no match to this. This matchless work with thousands and thousands and thousands of stories is the Mahabharata. That's how Suta Ugrasravasa introduced this and then commenced telling the Mahabharata. We'll also hear the some glorious stories from this amazing Mahabharata. Om Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet.